Hey, great to have you watching this video today. Thank you for showing up. And in case we don't know each other yet, my name is Michelle. I work as the soul translator, have the Empowered Empath Soul Camp, as well as soon to be coming out the Sensate Soul. So I'm a spiritual medium and a intuitive life and business coach. And I also work particularly with empaths, empowerment, and empowerment of sensitive, solo, spiritual entrepreneurs. All right, so excuse the lighting here. I just realized I'm like, wow, I look like I've got like serious third eye activation going on. It's a little bit of an overcast day here on the river, and I've got a funky light right on me, and we're just going to go with it, and it's all good. So today we are going to be talking about empathic entrepreneurs and being a chameleon. So, and also, if you are new to me and you like this information, you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel or like this video. And also, please do add any comments that you have that this video entices in you, and I will definitely respond. I love to have conversations and connections around the work that I'm really passionate about and in supporting you in being you. All right, so let's get into it. Entrepreneurism and mimicry. We see this all over, or I said being a chameleon. We see this all over in the entrepreneurial worlds of people copycatting each other, people jumping into other people's systems and making them like, well, if I do it just the way that person does, then if I do the formula, if I go through step 1 through 7, I'm going to be a success in what I'm doing. And thank goodness there are so many wonderful entrepreneurial creatives out there who are creating systems from culling those things from their own process and work, and then putting them out there for other people to learn the system or to benefit from that. So I saw this Ram Dass quote the other day, which I put on my Facebook, which basically was saying, I help myself or I learn about myself so that I can help others. And that's kind of like the chain of evolution. And I think that was really, really well put. So I know from me working with empathic entrepreneurs and being one myself, this, shall we say, what's the right word here? That this temptation to copy what somebody else is doing. I'm not meaning in the sense of, literally, doing exactly what they're doing, like taking their stuff. I'm meaning more about, going in and the temptation of doing things just the way other people do them in order to be successful, and following a system that somebody else built so that you can, do X, Y, Z and then get to the level of success or the level of influence or whatever is important to you that person has. There is nothing wrong with that. And some of us really need to have a system that somebody else built so that we can find how we do it, or sometimes, how it's going to work for us. And sometimes it really does work. But I want to say one thing that's so important here about empathic entrepreneurs or sensitive entrepreneurs, and this tendency to look and say, well, if they did it that way, it's going to work for me. And also, by the way, I will add 3 things to do to kind of check yourself here at the end that will help you in not doing this too much. So, empathic entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking from experience here, can have a tendency to do this to a fault. So because we are so able to adapt and chameleon ourselves to others because we've had to, many of us have had to for just taking care of ourselves, or as kind of like an unconscious default protective mechanism growing up, where we kind of became chameleons, because as an empath or a sensitive, you're sensitive to everything around you, the emotions, the feelings, the dreams, the thoughts, the actions, the what's happening, the what's not happening for others and in others. That because then when we step into a world of entrepreneurism and taking our good ideas, creative impulses, or spiritual work out into the world, we can sometimes have a tendency to become a little bit more of a entrepreneurial chameleon than standing in our truth, or figuring out basically what is our way of doing it. Why is this so challenging and can be? And I see this in everybody that I work with. Like I said, I'm speaking from experience here. It's because we're empathic and sensitive, and we've already learned the art of adaptation. Meaning we are already so empathically resonating with not just people and the way they are doing things in their lives and what's going on in their inner world, but we can also be very empathically resonant with ideas and creations and things that have yet to become known or birthed. This is also that part of the intuitive, the channeling part that many empathic entrepreneurs have. This is one reason why I had a branding business, was because, because of my abilities, I could channel in, copy and symbols and taglines and the meaning, the communication, the translation part of that creative enterprise that wanted to come through and was part of this person's purpose and, their business and prosperity. So empathic entrepreneurs really have to watch this. We have to really watch this, that we don't become chameleons of other people's work and how other people do it, because we are already really naturally wired to have this art of adaptation. So please know that I'm not saying that you can't try things on and take what you like and leave the rest, because sometimes there's just brilliant stuff that people are doing and you can, try it on and see how it works for you. The suffering part here that happens for empathic entrepreneurs and sensitive spiritual solopreneurs is that we're actually incredibly independent in the sense of our soul's expression, meaning we actually need to have a certain amount of sovereignty to trust how we do things and to be kind of unto ourselves with what we're doing. Not that you aren't connected and can't have a team and support and all that stuff, but there really needs to be a true honoring of your individual expression and not be a copycat of others, because we're so sensitive to inauthenticity. Because that's often the stuff that we are feeling in others, is that inner turmoil and the places of incongruency, shall we say. So when we feel like we're copying somebody else or we're being inauthentic to our true individual expression and to ourselves, we feel like shit. It's a real, Danny Downer. It's a real depleter of our energy. So let's get to 3 things that you can do that can help you define more of what is your way of being an empathic entrepreneur, spiritual entrepreneur. So the first one is, and I'm kind of giggling on this one because I had a very narcissistic father, and which was very tough, as I'm sure you can understand, as an empath. And he really had, he lived this my way or the highway kind of way, thinking and way of being. And what I realized that for my personal path as an entrepreneur, this is actually to flip that around and make it like a mantra is really empowering. So saying my way or the highway, not that I'm kicking anybody out and saying I'm in control here and this is the only way I'm going to do it and you all can just, off. That's not it. But honoring that my way and kicking off and getting rid of those other things that can go on the highway is really what matters. Knowing what your way to do something and focusing on that. Yes, it takes a little work. And of course, I can help you with that. But it takes a little work to figure out, well, then what really is your way of doing your business and your work in the world. But you got to ask the question in order to find the answer. So really having this, like, a kind of like a quest cry for yourself, my way or the highway, and dedicating and committing yourself to finding out what is your way. The second one here is, and I love this, I use this often in my work, I've got this in other videos, but it's a really simple kind of gauge, and it's the hot or cold exercise, or as I call it also, like, because I compare us to batteries, because we are basically energetically, human beings are, we are light and we are batteries because we run on a positive negative polarity, is this idea of, like, remember when you were a kid and you would do the hotter and colder? So if you don't remember what that was, oops, excuse me. It's basically like if you're getting close to something, somebody else would say warmer, warmer, hot, 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 getting hot. And then if you're moving away from it, if you're trying to find something with your eyes closed, then it's like colder. Ooh, cold as ice, cold as ice. So when you're looking at doing something as an empathic entrepreneur, a system, whether it's webinars, a workshop, what you want to put onto your mailing list for opt-ins, whatever that particular system that you create that is your way, my way or the highway, you can play with different ideas with a hot and cold or positive minus kind of gauge. So remember, you need to choose something that's going to honor your energy and that's something that you can sustain. So if you think about or feel into in your body, more importantly, an idea, you get a sense. Do you get a hot or cold? Do you get a contraction or do you get an expansion, a positive, negative? And that can help you gauge about, oh, well, I want to do webinars and I want them to be connected to this particular offering, but I really don't want to do in-person workshops, or I really want to do retreats. I'm feeling that, where I want that human connection. I don't want to be online. But in order to get the retreats going, I'm going to ask, I'm going to do mini workshops and offer, a spot free for whatever. So I'm just, kind of riffing here on this. But you want to see, how does your energy respond to doing it your way? Or what feels like it is aligned with your way of doing things? Do you get a hot or cold or positive, negative? The next one is digital detox. I'm actually just about to do one of those for 2 weeks. And I love doing this. Of course, I don't love it in the first couple days because I'm always like grabbing for my phone and going, hands off, Michelle, hands off the phone. But really taking some digital detox time, because it can be so impressionable and people can be impressionable. But empathics and sensitive solopreneurs, when we are looking through Facebook and we are looking through Instagram, we're feeling the emotional and often the energetic frequency of these things. And it's hard not to go into comparison, to go into, if I only did it that way, then things would really work out for me. Or if I did it that way, that's going to be my ticket to success. So we really have to curate where we're putting our attention, because we are very impressionable. I think it's just true. And I experience it to be true on my path and with the people that I work with. So I also want to say with that, I'm not saying that empaths and entrepreneurs aren't incredibly sovereign, but we have to find that place and honor it and have daily, energy practices to be able to return to our center, so that we don't start to get too swayed by other people's energies or swayed by other people's creations, and then start losing our center, because we can tend to be a little more impressionable than your average Joe or Jane. So, because we feel things so deeply. And then with knowing that, that means, you know, you can be more aware of a tendency to be a little more impressionable. And that's okay. The awareness is what's going to help the empowerment, because then you can discern. And you know me, I'm always getting back to discernment and trust as being our superpowers. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. Digital, so just a quick recap here. My way or the highway. Of course, you need to figure out what is your way. But do believe in it and make that your mantra and conviction that you're going to find your way of doing things. Because the second one connected to that is you don't want it to be something that you can't maintain energetically, emotionally, spiritually. You want it to be something that feels really good and sustainable for you. So doing this hot, cold, positive, negative, expansion, contraction little tests to see what fits into your system of doing things. And then the third one is digital detox. Sometimes we just need to put the blinders on and just let ourselves be in more silence and less impressions and frequencies coming at us so that we can hear ourselves again and listen within and then translate that into our lives, into our businesses, and find the wonderful gold that wants to come bubbling through. All right, thank you so much for listening. If you liked this video and enjoyed what I shared here, please do give a like to my YouTube channel or to this video, or add a comment if you have anything that you want to say that this has brought up for you. And you can find me over at thesoultranslator.com, as well as the Empath. Well, as well as the Empowered Empath Soul Camp, and soon to be the Sensate Soul. Take great care. So much love.